you guys. This won't be a long live. It's pretty bad, Mary Jane. Just gonna say what happened. You guys are like family. Okay, Truth Seeker. Let's give a few more a chance to come in. I know Rebel is game night right now. Sierra's live. But I just got to get this on my chest. But most of all, I was just not going to do a live for a few days and deal. But I missed Rebel and his son's first game show, whatever it's called. Hi everyone, thanks for coming in. Hi Dan, thanks for coming in, you guys. Would you please hit the like and subscribe to me if you haven't? Boy, put a heating pad on your belly, Truth Seeker, if you have one. That's what I did, and then I found out I had appendicitis thing going on. Oh, you can't hear me? I thought I turned it down. Okay, just a second. All right, let's have it in the background a little while people come in. I'm sure as heck not showing my face. My eyes are red, puffy. Okay. It's a real quick song. I'll let it play one more time. I think it's 1 minute long. Please hit like. I'll start in a second. All right. Thanks, you guys. So like I said, I wasn't going to do video for a while. My entire left finger, thank God, pointer finger, is frozen. The because I had to have, um, what's that called when they give you stitches? The needle in the finger. I was petrified because I thought it would go like in the open flesh. Thank God he had me turn my hand over. I told them to remove the little girl that was in the room because I don't know if it's just our ER here, but I was partitioned off with 5 other people, behind a curtain. And I knew I was going to scream. And boy, did I. I didn't want to scare the little girl. I tried to put um, I had kind of a thick, sweatery pajama top on, and my leggings that I sleep in, and my socks, and that's it. No bra, nothing on, and no phone with me, no nothing, because I waited for the ambulance come because I was, I guess, having a panic attack because I was so frightened. Um, and honestly thought maybe I was going to bleed to death, even though it's just my finger. I've never even cut my finger. Billions of people cut their finger. And I don't mean to bring up Jimmy again, but I think he's talked about different things he's been through, and I think he's cut off the top of his finger. I think one of them. Or is it a different creator I'm thinking of? I'll say this before I forget. Don't ever grab the other end and put it on top and then go to the hospital because that causes infection. That's what I found out. Mine wasn't that severe, but very close. What happened was, as most people know, been having harder issues with my son. He knows I'm doing a live right now to be connected with you guys for 10, 15 minutes. And I said, I'm not going to bash you. Just like I told the police, I know it was an accident. Um, but I share everything else in my life. I might as well share this. And I've been talking about mental illness now for weeks, stuff like that. So, as you know from last night, he was upset, that he doesn't have a mattress to sleep on anymore. Um, he had a blow up mattress and then he was getting cold on it. So he gave it to me. And in all honesty, I was on a shitty mattress with holes in it and whatnot. So I laid blankets in the middle. And I was using that. And Shaylin's mattress was shit. So we threw that out and I gave her the blow up mattress. Then he ordered another one, a smaller one, thinking it wouldn't be as cold. And it got popped. The other one didn't. He didn't think this one would, but it did. It deflated, more than likely, right? The kittens or a cat. And we threw it out. So for 2.5 weeks, he's been sleeping on a 1-inch small little foam thing. He's been doing okay. It's not like a hard floor, but it's close. But he's been getting really upset. And because his dad wasn't returning any of his calls. So you could say, Dad, please, I need a bed, whatever the heck. So this morning, I'm sound asleep, the usual. He's knocking on my door, knocking. I ignored it. I think I slept through it. I went to bed about 3 in the morning. It doesn't matter when I go to bed. It happens almost every day. It's not even necessarily out of anger. If he needs to not go through his separation anxiety, because it causes anxiety when he can't talk to me, and then that causes fear, and then he thinks he's going to have a panic attack. And as most of you know, he's tapering off his Zoloft because his dad talked him into it. So it is what it is with that. So, but now after all this fiasco today, he's realizing and how rude my ex was to me on the phone. He just wants back on it, the full amount. And I said, please, please, just stay on it, because if anything, it'll help your. It's for depression, anxiety, and OCD. That's what it's for. So if your depression's helped a little bit, then your anxiety will be helped a little bit, which may keep some of the OCD and the worrisome parts of your OCD, maybe not the intrusive thoughts, at bay. And he's done this on, off, on for a year, off for 2 weeks. You know what I mean? On for 4 years, off, whatever. Impatient to get his medication. Okay, I've missed a lot of. I didn't even say hi to all of you on here. I'm just going to bypass that. You all know I'm thankful that every single one of you are here. Every single one of you, people I haven't even heard of. I mean, been on here. Yeah. All right. So anyway, his OCD tells him to remove a table from his room or then put it back in, or there isn't enough room for his drum kit, or he feels claustrophobic or whatever. That's part of his life, rearranging his room too. He ordered this huge, heavy, black table, not oak, and not steel, but it nearly feels like it. And it was obstructing the hallway again. This is how it all started today. It was about 11, and I took it, and I was angry. I didn't throw it, but I opened his door, and I just bumped the cymbals on his drum kit. He got up. I was saying something I don't even remember, but I was leaving when he jumped up. And I'm trying to pull my arm and my hand through the door, and I didn't get it out in time. And he didn't just slam it shut with his hand. He slammed it shut with 161 pounds of weight against the door. And go ahead and close that. And my finger was in the door. And I instantly screamed, of course. It hurt like hell. It was scary as shit. It was so enclosed on it. I noticed when I looked up, you couldn't see my finger. So it's not like it was the tip. And when I screamed, he let up a little, and I was able to get my finger out. And that's the only reason it didn't cut it off. Now, I didn't know any of this, but I knew from true crime and crap. Like I said, I've never even cut my finger. I grabbed a dish towel. I don't know if it was clean, whatever. Wrapped it around. I didn't know, but I was dripping blood on the floor. My poor daughter, thank God she's 20, but still, was shrieking, freaking out. I screamed for her to call 911. I was really scared because, when you don't cut to the bone, you don't know. If you've never done that before and you're bleeding like that out of arteries that, you just don't experience this. Like, part of me was afraid I was going to bleed to death. I mean, I can laugh about it now because it's stitched up. It was really scary. Then I started feeling faint. Then I started thinking I was going to have another stroke, because of my high blood pressure. So then I went outside and I waited for the ambulance. It did not get here right away. I mean, it got here pretty quick, but maybe 5 minutes. I'm outside of the apartment, yelling, crying. I was so scared. Two people were walking down the sidewalk. They looked at me, they kept walking. I don't blame them. I was clutching my finger kind of in between my legs, so for all they knew, I had gotten stabbed. I mean, let's be real. I was out of my mind with fear. I was hyperventilating. Okay, so they arrived. First, the cops arrived. They looked at my finger. They said, yes, we need ER, whatever, the ambulance, whatever. Then they pulled in right away. And I said, it was an accident. Because it was, you guys. It was. He would never mean to hurt me or want to hurt me. He just wanted me out of his room. I told the cops that I was out already, but my hand hadn't gotten out soon enough. My whole hand. Um, okay, so I said, please don't arrest him. I said, he's so scared. I showed Parker my finger. I didn't even want to look at it. The skin was down to the bone and rolled up. And this may be trigger warning for some, and I know other people are in car accidents and go through horrific things, millions of times worse than I ever have. I dare say I was more scared with all of this than the day I had my stroke. Absolutely. I'm not reading chat right now because I'm looking up at my ceiling trying to recall details because I'm a very detailed person anyway, you guys. I'm going to turn the heat down a little. All right, so, or off. Turn this on low. All right, so, all right. And now I forgot my coffee, which is hot, leaning against me, just poured all where I was sitting. But luckily it's coffee and not hot water. Just a second. My daughter even said, I don't want to give this to you. You might forget it's there. And I did. Okay, let me move this stuff. All right, so anyway, I want to at least go up. Okay, the cop said, no, he's not going to be arrested. We just want to talk to him. I said, okay. I said, but my body was already outside the door. He just wanted it closed. So, oh God, my head's all over the place. All right, so I said, I didn't have shoes on. I was in socks. It was sprinkling. They said, you just need to get in the ambulance. I said, well, why? If it's, you guys wrapped it, I mean, can I? They said, well, you could get infection. Now, I didn't even know about infection with cut fingers. And apparently every cut, every sever, every injury on a hand is different and heals differently. So, I got in the ambulance and they checked my blood pressure and it wasn't too bad. So I was relieved about that. I knew I wasn't going to have another stroke from like freaking out because you just don't know. You know, I take medication every day. I didn't have my phone. I didn't know if they were going to arrest my son. I didn't know anything. So I'm there. And it was 2 hours later that I had to sit in freaking agony, crying in front of 20 different people in my pajamas, which didn't really look like pajamas, but whatever. Waiting to be seen. And then I got in there and they poured something on it and whatever. I found out that you have such an adrenaline rush that what's painful at first goes away. And then when tendons are cut, whatever, which can happen apparently by a door, um, you go numb, or your finger does. So my whole finger was numb. They asked me on the way there what my pain level was. And the truth of the matter was, it was like, I think I said a 4.5. And that was weird because it was like a 15 when it initially happened. It was freaking horrible, you guys. Um, and people will hear this and think I'm a big baby, probably. But it was really, really awful. And it looked awful. So the whole top of my finger from the line up, from the line up, it's purple. My whole finger's numb. I have stitches clear down to the bone area, and then that will dissolve, I guess. And then because I read the paperwork, I had 2 layers of stitches, or I wouldn't even flip and know. I've got real stitches around the outside, and the hand surgeon that I have to see this week um, will take them out whenever. I don't know. Apparently, I said, "Do you think I have a broken bone?" The EMT said, "Yes, something more than likely is broke. I have a fracture," which I guess is a good thing, you guys. If it was a break, they showed me, I had an x-ray done, and they showed me the fracture is up on the top of my finger. It's the not knowing that was really scary, and now I know everything. But what's weird is that my middle finger is partially numb, and I talked to the doctor about that, and he said that's normal. He asked me if I can move my pointer finger on top, and I could. Thank God, you guys. Like, things could have been worse, literally. So they believe I'll have movement in my finger. The other blessing is it's my left hand. I'm right-handed. Shaylin, my daughter's helping me do lots of things, but I'm pretty much doing everything myself that I can do. I can open cans of meat. I can pour things. I can write. The only thing I had trouble with just now, before I started this live, which I can't believe I've been babbling for 24 minutes already, is on my 9 different pills, taking off 2 of the lids, because you have to push down with your hand and twist. If they're too damn big, I can't do it. I can't even put them in between my legs and do it. I can't tuck them under my armpit and do pressure with my right hand. I can't do it. So my daughter does that, and then getting the lids back on, just 2 of them. I'm supposed to clean this thing every day, but I'm not going to use it. It's not going to get wet. I'm not going to. Now I'm going to clean it every day and take the gauze and everything off when the surgeon says that I have to. But the lady said, "Well, your hand might get dirty." And I said, "No, I have a dishwasher and I'll just use my right hand." Because she said, "Don't you wash dishes even?" And I said, "No, I just rinse, and I can rinse the plates with my right hand." So I'm going to do everything right because I don't want to get infection. That's a little scary to me. Not having mobility in my fingers a little scary to me. Possibly having to have surgery is a little scary to me. My son called to make sure I was okay. He called the hospital. I didn't know any damn numbers, because you know how you just hit the button so you can get through to people. I didn't know them by heart. Not my daughters, not my sons. I just didn't. I couldn't remember them. And I'm not calling my 83-year-old mother, who literally is driving from Missouri to Iowa today after seeing my sick, with cancer sister. And if she calls me and finds out how I'm doing, like when she gets home or asks, and she hears my voice wavering, I'll be honest with her. But I really don't want to tell her about this because she'll be afraid. Now, in a way, everybody, it's a good thing this happened. Because for one, my son is, well, it's not good he's freaked out, but he doesn't even want to close his door anymore. He doesn't want to touch his door. It brings back memories of when he was carrying some dishes and a cat tripped him up or something like that. It had nothing to do with the door, but he broke his toe and how swollen and big it was and blah, 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 blah. Now he wants to walk around with boots on and some kind of mittens. And I'm like, you can't wear boots for the rest of your life 24/7, but whatever. So that's what happened. So I plumb forgot. I remembered last night that Rebel and his son had their first program, Double Trouble TV 22. But boy, I forgot all day. And then when we finally got our internet back on, I had to call and get the modem to be restarted from Xfinity's end. And in 10 minutes it was. We've had to do it before. It came up. And it came up that he's doing game right now. But I'm going to go to bed early. I have to pick up cephalexin, an antibiotic. I have to take 4 a day for 4 days. They gave me one at the hospital. And Tylenol and Motrin. So, I could use your prayers if you don't mind. When I got home, my son was just sitting on the floor on his mattress thing. And he probably thought I was going to yell or something. And I just said, "Hi, Parker." And he didn't say anything. And told him I love him. No, it's an accident. His father said to me twice, "Did he know your hand was in there and was shutting it anyway?" And I said, no. And maybe he didn't even see it. I mean, when people are angry and they slam a door, are they looking really for a hand or a body part or a toe down below? Not really. He's very, very upset with himself. He thinks there's going to be like someone's going to hurt him now in this way. But I showed him my finger, put it right up to his face when I was bawling because I wanted him to see that there are real consequences. I didn't let blood drip on his bed or anything like that. It was pooling. But it's cut all the way around and looks pretty awful. So, yeah. Yeah. Ray Jones. When I was a kid, I slammed my hand shut in the car door. My mom, in a hastened panic, locked the keys in the car, trying to get to me. Oh, for God's sakes. An employee at Kmart busted the window out to unlock it. You poor thing. It's really horrific. Thank you. Thank you, 911 operator. I told him this. He was getting ready to pack and go to his dad's. And I said this, "You can go to your dad's. You can go live there." I said, "But I don't want you to go. And I'll tell you why." But I said, "Do what you want to do." I made that clear. And he knows that all along, all these years, regardless of what these fucking other creators think they know. Okay? You don't keep someone against their damn will. over the age of 18, you go to jail for one. And I don't do that to people, much less family. But the problem is, Joe will probably hear this now and he can deny it, but things got physical in the past. Not horrible with him and his dad, but the drinking got so out of control that uh, apparently, this is what my son said. His dad pushed him first. Parker wanted to show him that he was a man too, pushed him back. And when I hear that, and people drinking, whether one is drunker than the other or they both were, because this was a good 6 years ago before he moved here, or 5 years ago. That's how really bad things happen. And I said, he's just not someone you should live with, because things have already gotten physical in the past. If they were it again, and if your dad lost his stepping, he's older than you, he has heart conditions, hits his head, and God forbid died. I told Parker this because these are facts, you guys. Okay. My son would probably be in prison for manslaughter, or not manslaughter, but whatever the lesser degree of that is, accident, whatever they are. And it does happen because that's what happened to that teacher by her mentally ill son. It's in True Crime. It was a good 2 weeks ago. Head injury. She died. She was in her 60s. They were having a big argument. The husband was gone. He had mental issues, young 20s. She's dead. He's in jail. Okay, I don't know the rest of it. I can't remember the name. But I do think in a few days, I'm going to look it up again and see if there's anything about what he's going on. But he's scared. He didn't want to hurt, much less kill his mother. So, perhaps he can learn from this. Perhaps I can learn from this and not talk to someone when they're angry or yell back when they're angry, because I get angry by his door. None of us are going to have even talks by our doors. We're all slightly traumatized. My daughter's 20, and she said to me 3 times since I've been home, because she's so fearful of me having another stroke, she was like, at least you're alive. She said, I'm thought you were going to die, Mom. But a nurse brought me the phone and said, would you like to speak to Parker? And I said, yes. And I spoke to him, and I told him what's going on and where I was at and around when I'd be home. So I had to call a cab, which was paid for because of my medical. And yeah, that's been my day. I'll peek at chat. I'm rolling up. Atom and Proton. My brother did that to me when I was a kid too, and he kept pushing it, crushing it. I had to have the shot too. Jesus. It's so, when I said, oh, you're just going to do it in the top of my hand. I said, is it one of those long, because I just had 5 needle shots in my mouth about a week ago, or 5 days ago even. It was this past Tuesday. And so what is that? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday? Yeah, barely 5 days ago. And so I remember it, and I'm used to it. And I've had 16 shots in the roof of my mouth when I was 14, and they had to scrape away my gums to expose one damn tooth that took a year to come in with a little wire around it in a hole that was exposed when my adult tooth was tucked up back underneath. Do you know what I mean? And they wanted my teeth to look nice. But I had to have 16 shots. The pain was that outrageous. There was no numbing gel back in the 80s. I was 14. It was horrible. So what I'm telling you guys that because I only had 5 this time, 2 on top, 1 down below, and then they had to give me 2 more, even though it was just bonding, because it hurt way too bad where they were sticking the thing to put the whatever that's called, that rubber band tent frickin' whatever it is on. I knew. I mean, it was piercing pain. I was like, ah. And so, yeah. But I'm here to say that shot in the hand, holy crap, it lasted like 8 seconds long. I swear to God, that's why I was screaming. I honestly, I mean, I've never been tortured. I'm just being blunt, you guys. That's just who I am. I felt like I was being tortured. It was awful. But anyway, I'm better. I can't feel my finger. It's so big, my pointer finger wrapped up in 2 different gauzes and then a brown thing around it, and I have a splint. It, I don't know. My daughter, I guess she was probably trying to make me laugh. She said it looks like a penis, Mom, because of the brown and the size. It's that wide. I mean, I don't mean to be like that. They're all wide. Now I'm going to regret saying any of this, but I'm looking at it. Whatever. Anyway, and it's about 1, 2, 3 inches up, maybe 4 with the white gauze wrapped around my thumb. I still have a little bit of blood in my nails. Um, but yeah, so I'm not showing my face, but what I'm gonna do is just hold my finger up so you guys, so nobody can accuse me of making up a damn story. And then I'm gonna end my live. And I don't know why these are posting, you guys, because I haven't paid for StreamYard. I also found out there was possible fraudulent activity. And then my bank let me know that somebody tried to take $28 off for tickets. And I know it's not my son because he doesn't even buy tickets for anything. There's nothing, he hasn't even been on the internet. So it's not like a game and he's lying or something. So I've got to get a new card for the 3rd time. And I'm sure a lot of you go through this. This is my finger. If my nails look dirty, it's a little bit of blood under them. This is it. It feels like it's in a frozen, like it's frozen. I can't move it. It's immobilized and it's completely numb. Those are my dirty nails. Not too bad. She had me go out, even after the stitches, you guys, even after the stitches, it was bleeding. And I dripped some blood on the chair in the back room. That scared me a little bit. So I took my towel and I held that around it. And then another nurse noticed and said, why don't you come out here and clean it? And I said, am I supposed to do that? I mean, you know, I don't really want to touch it or the stitches. So I ran water over that. They gave me a little sponge with soap. It doesn't hurt yet, but I suppose in the morning it might. And that's why I'm asking for prayers. I have some Tylenol, but I'm getting a ride from my neighbor who graciously is doing that for me again. And then I just owe him the money until I get it. You notice I didn't put my Cash App or PayPal up, but if somebody does want to, I'll throw it up, I guess, right now, really quick. Because I owe him money for rides. And yeah. All right. I'm going to regret the sound of this live. my quivering voice. The reason I'm quivering is I'm trying not to cry. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for listening and caring. I'm not going to go through. It's starting to throb just a little bit, so I'm not going to go through and read any more comments. I'm going to go take my first Tylenol. That's how numb it is. I haven't had to even take any Tylenol, but I know that I need to start getting some in my system and take not even as needed as prescribed. And they want me to take some every 6 hours. So, all right. Feel free to tell the rebels and stuff, any of those of you. I don't care what you say. I don't care what details. They know my life is hectic. But that's why I missed their show. And I don't know when, if I'm in a lot of pain tomorrow, like it's just starting to hurt like shit because the numbing thing is gone away, I'm not even going to do a live like this. And I know you guys don't expect me to. All right. Thank you so much. Love you guys. If you'd please subscribe or hit the like, I'd appreciate it. And if you want to Cash App or PayPal me, I'd appreciate that. Thank you for being my friend.